Have you ever wondered how forgiveness can change your life? From the smallest slights to the deepest betrayals, we all have moments in our lives where we have been wronged. These moments can leave scars, build walls, and create tension that may last for years. But there's a transformative power waiting to be unlocked, a power that can heal wounds, build bridges, and restore harmony. This power is forgiveness. Delving into the topic of forgiveness is no light task. It's a concept that's as old as humanity itself, intertwined with our personal growth and spiritual journey. It is an act of grace, a choice to let go of resentment and the demand for retribution. It's about freeing ourselves from the chains of the past, opening up to the potential for healing and growth. But why do we need to forgive? The answer lies in understanding that forgiveness is not about the one who caused the pain. It's about us. It's about releasing the burden that we carry, the poison of resentment that can eat at us from the inside. Forgiveness is not a gift to the other person, but a gift to ourselves. It's the key to peace, to freedom, and to a life unshackled by the past. Now, where can we find guidance on this path to forgiveness? Where can we look to understand its true nature and the profound impact it can have on our lives? Many of us turn to spiritual texts for such wisdom, and one of the richest sources is the Bible. Specifically, the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 21 to 26, provides a profound insight into the power of forgiveness. This passage, part of the Sermon on the Mount, offers a powerful teaching on the importance of reconciliation, the need to resolve conflicts, and the transformative power of forgiveness. Forgiveness can be a difficult journey, but it's a journey worth embarking on. It's a journey that can lead us to a place of peace, of healing, and of growth. One of the most powerful teachings about forgiveness can be found in the book of Matthew. So let's delve into this teaching, explore its wisdom, and unlock the transformative power of forgiveness. Matthew 5:21-22 confronts us with a stark truth. These verses, profound and direct, challenge us to reconsider our understanding of anger. They prompt us to see our hostile feelings towards others as akin to the gravest of crimes, murder. Let's unpack these verses together, shall we? In verse 21, we're reminded of an old commandment, one that's been drilled into us since our earliest days. You shall not murder. Anyone who murders will be subject to judgment. This, we understand. Murder is a severe act, one that snuffs out the divine spark in another human being. It's a transgression that warrants judgment. But then, verse 22 takes us by surprise. It pushes us further, forcing us to reflect on our own emotions. But I tell you that anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Wait a minute, is anger now on the same plane as murder? Well, consider this. Isn't anger, in its essence, a form of violence? It's an emotion that erupts within us, disrupting our peace, and often leading us to say or do things we later regret. It can strain our relationships, create rifts, and even lead to physical harm. In essence, anger destroys. It may not take a life in the literal sense, but it can certainly kill joy, trust, and love. So yes, in a way, anger can be akin to murder. It's a hard truth to swallow, but it's a truth nonetheless. And it's one that calls us to examine our hearts, our emotions, and our actions. It asks us to acknowledge the destructive potential of our anger, and to strive for a healthier way of dealing with our frustrations. Matthew 5:23-24 guides us towards the path of reconciliation. These verses are nestled within the Sermon on the Mount, a profound discourse delivered by Jesus Christ, where he profoundly redefines the nature of righteousness. Let's delve into the verses. They say, "Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First go and be reconciled to them, then come and offer your gift." In essence, these verses underline the importance of reconciliation, urging us to seek peace with those around us before participating in religious rituals. They are a powerful call to prioritize our relationships with others, to mend any broken bonds, and to seek forgiveness where necessary. The altar, a place of worship and sacrifice, is used here as a metaphor. It symbolizes our attempts to connect with the divine our acts of devotion, and our spiritual pursuits. But what these verses teach us is that our path to the divine is not merely through rituals or offerings. Instead, it's through the harmony we cultivate in our relationships, the peace we establish with our fellow humans. This doesn't belittle the value of religious rituals. Rather, it elevates the significance of love, peace, and reconciliation. It's a humbling reminder that our spirituality is not just about our personal relationship with the divine, but also about how we treat and interact with others. In the grand scheme of things, these verses emphasize that our journey towards spiritual growth is intertwined with our interpersonal relationships. They urge us to recognize the divine in each other, to see the sacred within the mundane, and to seek reconciliation not merely as a social obligation, but as a spiritual practice. In a world that often prioritizes individualism, these verses are a gentle reminder of our interconnectedness. They call us to be peacemakers, to heal wounds, and to build bridges of understanding and compassion. These verses remind us that our relationships with others are intrinsically linked to our relationship with the divine. They encourage us to find the divine not just in temples or churches, but in the hearts of those we share our lives with. Matthew 5:25-26 urges us to settle matters quickly. These verses, nestled in the heart of the Sermon on the Mount, carry profound wisdom about human relations and conflict resolution. They implore us to swiftly address and resolve any disputes we find ourselves in, rather than allowing them to fester and potentially escalate into more significant conflicts. Let's delve deeper into the verses. Settle matters quickly with your adversary who is taking you to court. Do it while you are still together on the way, or your adversary may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. This verse, in its vividly illustrative language, urges us to make peace before a situation spirals out of control. Why does it matter? Because unresolved issues can accumulate like heavy stones in our hearts, breeding resentment, anger, and bitterness. They can cloud our minds, hinder our growth, and disrupt our peace. These verses teach us that it's not just about avoiding legal complications or societal judgment. It's about preserving our inner harmony and fostering healthier relationships. Verse 26 continues, "Truly I tell you, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny." Here, the metaphorical prison could be a state of inner turmoil, a self-created prison of the mind, where we trap ourselves through our unresolved conflicts and unexpressed emotions. The last penny signifies the effort, the emotional labor we must undertake to resolve our disputes and free ourselves from this self-made prison. These verses emphasize the importance of swift reconciliation. They remind us that time is of the essence when it comes to resolving conflicts. The longer we allow a dispute to linger, the deeper the chasm it creates, the harder it becomes to bridge that gap. So, let's heed the wisdom of these verses. Let's strive to address our disagreements promptly, to express our feelings honestly, to listen with an open heart, and to seek resolution swiftly, because it's in these acts of prompt reconciliation that we avoid falling into deeper discord. So, what does this all mean for us in our daily lives? The teachings from Matthew 5:21-26 offer us a profound insight into the transformative power of forgiveness. It's not just about the words we utter, but the intentions we harbor and the actions we take. It's a gentle nudge reminding us that in our daily interactions, we should always strive to sow seeds of love, forgiveness, and reconciliation. Envision this: you're going about your day, immersed in your own world, when suddenly you remember that you've quarreled with a friend, a family member, or a co-worker. The words of Matthew 5:23-24 echo in your mind, urging you to seek reconciliation. It's not just about saying, "I'm sorry," but about mending the rift that has formed, about building a bridge over the chasm of misunderstanding. But how do we achieve this? By taking the first step, by letting go of our pride and reaching out, by acknowledging our mistakes, and by genuinely seeking to make amends. It's about being proactive in our pursuit of peace, just as Matthew 5:25-26 suggests. We shouldn't wait for the other person to come to us. Instead, we should take the initiative, because time is of the essence. Forgiveness, however, is not a one-way street. It's not just about forgiving others, but also about forgiving ourselves. It's about recognizing our own shortcomings and accepting that we, too, are human, prone to err. When we forgive ourselves, we open the door to personal growth, to transformation. By embracing forgiveness and reconciliation, we not only transform our relationships, but also our own hearts and souls. We replace bitterness with kindness, resentment with understanding, and anger with love. We become beacons of peace, radiating positivity and goodwill. We become better versions of ourselves, and in doing so, we inspire others to do the same. The power of forgiveness is transformative. It heals, it mends, and it renews. It's a gift that we give not only to others, but also to ourselves. So let's embrace it. Let's embody the teachings of Matthew 5:21-26 in our everyday lives. By embracing forgiveness and reconciliation, we not only transform our relationships, but also our own hearts and souls.